Payday 2 is a fast-paced, criminal-based first-person shooter for a 4-player team. It's full of guns, bodies, failed strategies, and of course, mayhem. Available on all the major platforms, this game just celebrated its 9th anniversary. Yet, at the time of recording, it's still averaging 30,000 players per month on the Steam charts. This sequel to Payday the Heist is insanely popular. Why is it able to still pull loads of players after so much time? Let's find out now. So we're out here today, Liquid Snake. I'm out here with Chronic.
Yo. What's
I'm
up?
out here with Muddy, aka Dragon Frost, aka Kyle, aka a bunch of things different in every game. And of course, the one and only Serial Killer.
How's it going?
So we're reviewing Payday 2. We have ridiculous numbers of hours in this game. Some of us more than others, but still a high amount. So we want to look at a lot of different areas in the game, focusing on that co-op experience, multiplayer experience, in this case, a 4-player experience. So let's talk about the entire concept behind this game. The review has been done a bunch of times, so most people will know about it. But what do we think about it? So let's start with you, Chronic. In terms of the storyline, in terms of what's actually going on, what's your thought on it? Any feedback for the producers of this game?
In terms of story,
In terms of the overall concept.
I have no idea what goes on in the story in this game. I'm sorry to say, but that's not why I here.
Sounds
Good news.
sounds
Good
great.
news.
That sounds like all of us.
Yeah, it's
No,
mostly
we will get to that part, but
it's mostly just to play with the boys. More or less, I'm not really sure. Outside of the contained story for each mission, which gives a general gist of what is happening. I'm not really sure about the overarching story. It doesn't matter too much to me. It doesn't seem like it's particularly bad or good, so I have no problems with it. It doesn't seem particularly difficult to follow if you're interested in it. But for me personally, it's all about the gameplay itself, or maybe like I said, the self-contained story in each mission.
So that's one view. Hundreds of hours poured into the game. What's the story? No idea. Kyle,
No
Couldn't be
idea.
any idea what the story in this game is?
I have no clue what the story of this game is. As Chronic rightfully said, I played it for the multiplayer. I found the concept of robbing banks and killing cops to be very entertaining.
You're a murderer, okay? A mass
Yes.
murderer.
All right.
there we
I
go.
won't do this in real life, so I get to enjoy my little fantasy here.
All right. Well, that's 2 out of 4. So we go to the one possible redeemer, CK. Any idea what is happening in this game?
Yes.
Hey.
That's what we talk about.
So the story follows the Payday gang, who were a group of individuals. I think it originally started with Houston, I want to say. Oh, no, sorry, Dallas. Dallas started the gang as in terms of striking back at a man at financial institutions who were robbing people or some that effect. Basically, that when Payday 2 first came out, they were a series of webisodes that kind of set the stage of who the characters that were the 4 main characters who we play as, or at least were first introduced in the game. Like, well, how does this operate? And in Payday 2, it starts off that with the original 4 characters, Dallas, Houston, Chains, and Wolf, robbing a bank, successfully robbing it, and then they made an escape, but then they were caught. And they were set up by Bane, because Bane was a character who wanted to recruit the Payday gang to do his bidding. Essentially, his plot is that he runs crime.net, which is a kind of a guns for hire type things, where clients can post up contracts, and then the Payday gang choose to execute those contracts and get rewards from it. Well, they cut up the rewards. Some of those people might be Ivan, the dentist. I can't remember who it is, but usually that over the course of the gameplay in each individual mission, you might hear a comment from said individual as opposed to why are you doing what we're doing.
Oh.
And as the game progresses, there's actually a storyline in crime.net where it's kind of grounded in reality. When coming close to the end, it gets really, really weird. And then I think in the final, last story mission, there's also another live action ending where all the characters in the game, they were on a beach, basically enjoying retirement.
I vaguely remember that beach. Yeah. I remember
So
that
it's
beach.
a whole long stretch. There is story elements in it that leads into different things. But at the core of the game, it's all about planning a heist, executing heist, and surviving a heist.
Murking cops.
I mean, that explanation
So much story in it.
sounds
Yes,
vaguely familiar. Like, I feel like everything that you said there makes sense. So, if the producers of the game say that's incorrect, well, I can't really help
No, it
them.
definitely is.
As far as I can say, that's correct.
Let's try to remember who were the people that gave us contracts. I don't remember.
Nah. It is great. Like, you remember so much more than I could even begin to remember. So we have.
I think it's mostly because of the banter between the characters.
That's where you got all that story from.
Well, that's what we said to look into the story.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. That makes
Because I
sense.
just started seeing that Chains, he's an interesting character, especially with his drills. And the banter between characters, these guys are fun. And the actual voice actors were the ones who did the live action stuff.
Nice.
Okay. That's
So,
cool.
so there we have the concept of the game. We have 4 criminals doing criminal things, recruited by a criminal to be criminals for hire. Sounds like a good concept to me. As we say,
Like about you, but
nobody.
it sounded like we were the heroes.
Robbing from the rich, giving to the poor.
Definitely
So we are the
the
actual
heroes. Definitely. And there were 4 heroes. Fortunately, there are 4 of us. 4 heroes. Sometimes producers don't seem to think that 4 is a good number, but in this case, we had 4. And you have that opportunity for each of the 4 to be able to play in their own manner, their own style. Each of the 4 is able to set up their own controls, set up their own almost RPG-like elements. So in terms of using your own playstyle to get through this game, Kyle, I'm going to come to you first. Any positive, negative feedback? Was it a limit to your playstyle that we were discussing earlier?
Nope, I quite enjoyed what I could have done to make my character tanky, a lot more tanky than the others. I enjoyed the weapons, because I'm a shotgun guy. There was a wide variety of shotguns, so I really liked that. The mods to the shotguns were really cool too. You could have actually, the fletchet rounds, I believe they called it. Yes, make your shotgun gets more range, reduces the damage a little bit, but increases its range. And then later on, as they got more updates, I got the minigun. So, oh yes, it made me feel like a beast, just walking through and laying waste to all those coppers.
So that's one playstyle that often gets us in trouble. CK, in terms of this game, what sort of playstyle would you have adopted, or did you find most entertaining?
Well, what I found most interesting about this game is that it allows for a multitude of playstyles. So this game does involve elements of sneaking, and then as they call it, elements of going loud. So in that, usually we as a group, how we tend to play, we try to play stealth. And when stealth fails, that's where Kyle and I steps in.
You say we as a group tried to play stealth. I don't think I don't think we
And
as a
CG.
group
We don't.
try to play stealth.
Me and
Right.
Liquid maybe.
Some
but
of the
That's my
group
point because Kyle
try
and
to
I
play
knows our
stealth.
strengths.
No,
We're not gonna
you know
we're not
very
gonna
well how
survive
to
with
play
stealth. So we
stealth.
patiently wait outside. You know, heavy armor, heavy machine guns. So when
You
things go
know
sideways,
very well how
we
to
there to
play
provide
stealth.
covering fire.
Oh, that's the game plan that you saw in your mind.
And that's how we do it. If it
Yep.
works, it works. If stealth works, it works. Kyle and I will be slightly more bored.
So you know,
If
in
it
your
doesn't work,
opinion,
we have much more entertainment.
make it harder to play the stealth style, and then when it inevitably fails, because only two of the required
guys.
4 are
Yes.
actually doing stealth, then you come in to save the day like a hero. I feel like there might be some capitalism in your answer there.
We are the backup plan. Right?
the plan
We
You
are
are
plan
the
B.
problem and the
B and
solution.
C.
I see.
We are plan B and C right there.
Yeah, sure. So controls, Joe. Did it match your play style? Was it up to par in terms of FPS play styles?
Yeah, this game, I want to say more so than a lot of other games, definitely allowed me to play how I wanted to, which is I don't know if it's unfortunately or fortunately for the team, is to enable Kyle to do what he does and still allow us to complete the mission. So I usually go as a special killer and like team support. So
Team medic.
yeah, team medic. So I keep people healthy, med kits, resurrections, those type of things. And this one let me do it while being fairly tough as well, because I'm not that easy to take down. Amongst them probably the third toughest, which is, I mean, there's only 4 of us, but
yeah, well,
a lot of me to use, the sniper rifle to basically 1-shot or 2-shot specials, even the bulldozers.
mm-hmm.
And this is the first game I think that I fell in love with the
Thanatos.
Spec Ops. The
Oh,
submachine
the
gun.
build.
The
Oh,
Spec Ops
yes.
submachine gun. This has to be one of my favorite guns in all the games.
Oh, nice.
With the right build, it does a lot of damage. It took a while to get used to not spam firing to use up all the ammunition, because I didn't really need to with the correct build with like technician body expertise and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Headshot, yeah, it doesn't take much rounds to take out almost anything. The biggest problem I have, I think, are shields, which with the Thanatos sniper rifle, yeah, that solves our problem pretty easily.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
Yeah, and with the addition of the perk decks, that added, additional of whatever I needed at the point in time.
Mm-hmm.
So whether it's increasing things like shout distance, stamina for the crew, toughness, allowing, take hostages, or if we just go in a loud mission, I could equip the muscle perk, which given health regen, pretty much become unkillable.
Yeah.
Enabling everybody else to just do what they do. I don't need to focus that much on, killing all the units. I could just leave that up to CK and Frost, and I just chill back and let the boys do what they do best.
Yeah.
Just keep
Sounds
everybody up. Yeah.
sounds good. So you spoke about the perk decks, which were I think sort of a DLC edition or one of those free DLCs. You spoke about the amount of tweaking that sometimes need to be done to get to exactly what you want it to be. So that brings us along to probably one of the, in my opinion, one of the most important things in any video game, whether that be co-op or not, the replay value. And CK, I'll start with you on this one. Let's see how many hours you have in this game, and would you say, yeah, there is some replay value in there?
I would say that yes, there is a lot of replay value in this game in terms of the number of missions that we have available to us,
Mm-hmm.
and in terms of the difficulty modifiers. That the higher more difficulty go, sometimes they introduce new enemy varieties or even more difficult enemy varieties
Right.
that will show up. And then there are two different play styles. So as I said before, we tried playing up some mission stealth. We tried doing full stealth the way it was intended. And then the missions where we played it completely loud. We went guns blazing. And then the missions where we had to play stealth, so as we just failed the mission.
Yeah, those are bad
And
missions.
and then as we see there are a multitude of different skill trees that you can play. That's so that there's the different builds that you can try, different types of guns, different types of customization to these different builds that you can do. In terms of you can be a run and gun, keep moving, never get hit, stand up being a tank, or can be team medic, can even recruit one particular combination of perks can let you recruit an enemy to play on your side.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So as I would say, there's a lot of variety in the play styles, and there's some variety in missions. There's a majority of the various locations where you play these missions on, and various objectives that you must complete.
Mm-hmm.
Some generic missions on we go in a bank, we hold it up, steal the money, break in the vault, steal the money, and we make our escape. Other missions where we go into, like say, infiltrating a PMC's warehouse looking for special artifacts or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So in terms of there are a wide variety of missions and playstyles that this game can offer to players. And I think we most certainly we racked up hundreds of hours. And I think even if we decided to, like say, if we have our set rules, if we rotate the rules, I'm sure we get at least another 100 hours out of it again.
Right. So hundreds of hours in there. So that sounds like decent replay value to me. What about to you, Chronic?
Oh yeah, definitely has a lot of replay value. I have 300 hours in the game, and one thing that really allowed that replay value is how easy it was to reset your skills in the talent trees. You didn't have to, as far as I know, you don't have to pay anything every time you reset, which because a lot of games make it so that you need to pay to reset, and every time you reset, it increases in the value. So, you need to be spending all your funds to reset it. Sometimes you need to be very careful about how you set your skills. But this one is real easy. You could just add and remove skills at will. So you could try a bunch of combinations, and once you play enough, you could almost max out 2 trees or reach the final tier in 2 trees out of the 4 trees, the 5 trees here, which gives some decent combinations if you experiment enough. So like I said, mine is I use mastermind and technician mostly, which pretty much allows me to control the feel and the gameplay. With mastermind, I could res players, I could take control of enemy special, not the specials, enemy units. I could keep hostages down much better than everyone else. And with the technician, it allows me to carry, 2 types of the equipments, deal damage. I could sprint and hip fire. It just gives a lot of options.
So both you and CK are interested in a lot of options. I know there may be the guy with the most hours in this game for us who may not be as interested in that many options of playstyle, but in terms of the replayability of that playstyle that you do in fact love, is it there? Did it work for you, Kyle?
Well, yes, it did. Because I have 398 hours in this game, and we should actually state we haven't really played this game in 4-5 years per se. And coming down to the end is when coming down to the end of those 4 years. So they did now bring in a lot of updates. So this game has hundreds of hours, honestly, if we decide to sit down and try these things out again.
Yeah,
But
we went and we played recently, and we're like, we have no idea what's going on.
right,
we need to
so
All new
warm back
contents
up and
that
get back
these
into
Yeah.
this.
yep.
And we don't even have all the DLCs.
Oh, not
No.
even
So there's
close.
a lot. Yeah, so there's a lot more
So
content
there's a
there
lot.
that we haven't even tried yet.
Yes, but I like the Enforcer build, Enforcer and Technician. I only realized I like sentry guns and playing with what you would call them pets, technically. Having
Yeah, pet
an
classes.
automotive, yeah, pet classes. I like having something just automatically helping me out. I would say. So being enforcer and being tanky, I really just like that. I like being in the fray. I don't get fed up of it.
Clearly
So
not.
I spent those 390 something hours really just playing tank and the technician, and I could play more with it. Once the boys are here and they want to play Payday, I will be willing to play it.
Well, that's the boys have been there, and the boys have been willing to play Payday. We all have 200 hours plus in this game, so that makes the idea of the cooperative entertainment a pretty easy concept to answer.
And
Is there
I would say
co-op
the
entertainment in
durable
this game?
durable value we got from this
Oh
was
yeah, oh yeah.
exceeded me.
This game
Simply
is,
high.
is nearly always on sale, and hundreds of, well, not hundreds of DLC, but so much DLC available, so much community engagement from the producers, and something
What
that
you Liquid? What about you?
I have
Just like say
200 plus hours in this game.
hours played, replayability.
I could replay
your role on the team.
this guy. The only reason we're not always playing this is there are other things to play, and for me, the co-op entertainment of this is the central point of it. So if everyone isn't here, then it's not top of my list. But once the boys
That
are
is true.
here, I am playing this over and over and over. The shenanigans are insane.
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah.
The end stats point to, I felt like I did a lot, and then you look, I only killed like 30 people, and CK's over there with 250 plus kills, and you're like,
Participation
I
medals.
felt like I had so much fun, like I was doing so much. You were there, yeah. You were also there, yeah, I guess. But like,
Well, as we said, so we each play our own roles.
Yep.
So usually you're the one mechanics first stage, you're the one figuring it out.
well, because I could just keep running while I read. Once I keep running, I'm dodging. So I was like, yeah, okay, I know what's going on. While you guys are like, listen, you have too much things here to kill. Yeah, you'll organize that. I'll go find what we're supposed to be doing and let you all know if I need your help or not.
Typical scene is this: is that usually the floor. Well, usually there are more bodies than floor when we usually progress through missions, and it's usually kind of myself, pulling up. They say if we pushing forward, kind of myself either pushing forward or bringing up the rear as needed, kind of keeping us topped off, and Liquid guiding us and pushing us in direction and doing mechanics as needed.
Well,
Yeah, and I keep any specials at bay as well.
So would you say is that off the assessment of how our playstyle is?
yeah. So anyone could have that sort of team. That's how our team works in this game, at least. But what enabled that, what allowed us to have that endless replay, that endless shenanigans and chaos, is the connectivity in this game. I would consider it super solid.
Above the line, yes.
Team powered games work well.
Maybe it has to be because it's Steam powered. There are some other games we play through Steam that I really wish we had never even bought.
The difference between playing a game on Steam
but
and having Steam integration.
maybe connectivity for me was great. We are all in different areas of the country on different service providers, but I don't think anyone throughout the years has had any problems. You all can let me know any connectivity issues.
Nope. This is definitely one of the best games for connectivity.
except for Tuesdays.
Except for Tuesdays.
Yeah,
Patch
patch
day.
Nothing goes down. For that brief few minutes, we can't do anything, or we're in the middle of something
That hasn't
will kick us
happened
out.
in a long time though. Like they've
because we don't play on Tuesdays.
maybe
Well,
they
I don't know when
changed.
last have we played on a Tuesday.
Oh, I thought maybe they changed their patch hours because I remember.
No, but I remember. But generally, 99.9% of the time, we've never had any issue playing this
The
game.
connectivity in this is excellent. Almost flawless, I would say. So
It's the gold standard that we wish other games could be as good as.
Yes.
yeah, maybe. So
I so want to call names.
we'll leave that for another day. So we've all had our several hundred hours in this game. We've all had a quick opportunity to speak about different aspects of the game. In terms of the graphics, in terms of the art style, anyone happy, anyone unhappy about that?
I would say the game is on the older side. And, well, you can see as the game has it's aged well. You can have a low-end rig, medium, high-end rig. But I think that it's worked well for it, given the age of the game. In terms of, as I said before, I remember when we last played it, I was already seeing more bodies than actually floor. That's a big flaw, which is a good thing, because the bodies will be persistent on the level.
Mm-hmm.
Because in some games,
There's a setting for it.
the game can handle it, they will naturally despawn bodies as you move along. But this really shows you this is the amount of enemies that we've killed. I think that's a plus for the game. In terms of the art style and how they chose, that's how they chose in the implementation of it.
Yeah,
I think it works well for the game.
that graphical direction is still suitable in the present day and pleasing at least to CK. Anyone with any disparaging remarks or not so happy with what was seen in the game in terms of the art and the graphics?
It did look a little strange putting it back on recently, but after about an hour, 2 hours, it looked like the old Payday, so it didn't really bother me.
Yeah,
It
sounds
just
good.
really putting on the game after all of those years, yeah, took a little while, but it was good.
Everything art style graphics wise sufficient to me.
Yeah, for me as well, especially
Yes.
with the different masks. Anyone who is a TF2 player would, there are endless hats there, and in Payday, endless masks to customize. And if you can't decide, there's default masks or masks that change quite regularly throughout it. But at the end of the day, during play, you don't really see a mask anyway. Maybe that might have been a different choice, a different art style choice. It is an FPS game, of course. For me, the graphics, no problem. They're not jarring or anything. They have aged well for me, because this game is, for me, about the playing, about the replay value, about your play style and just having fun with your friends. So as long as the graphics is not don't take you out of the game, then it's good graphics, good art for me.
Yeah, it fits the theme very well.
Yeah. Okay. So we've covered almost all the aspects of it, right? But so let's do a quick rundown now. 30 seconds or a minute if you need. And we'll start with you, Joe. Overall, the pros and cons of the game, and if you're happy with it.
Oh yeah, this game for sure is a probably 8 or 9 out of 10 for me. As we said, the pros are the co-op aspect. It really lets us play as a team and function how we want to within our team. The customization of weapons, the perk decks, the skills, the replayability, and yeah, that's pretty much it. As for cons, if anything, personally, I would have liked some UI improvements. That displays some of the like passive effects or triggered effects that you get from like your skills. Like after I res someone, they get like a buff that reduces damage taken. Whenever you sprint, you get increased dodge, things like that. Debuffs on enemies. That I think I would have appreciated a lot more. but it could be that their design philosophy required it to be as minimalistic as possible.
Yeah.
But other than that, yeah, all good.
Yeah. CK, I'll come to you. Any pros and cons you want to lay on us?
Overall, I think we've all stated that the co-op experience for it was, we all quite enjoyed it. We all enjoyed playing it together. And well, when there's not four of us, we tend to like it less. I would like to say it's
Mhm.
less fun for us because it's the shenanigans of playing with friends.
Mhm. Mhm.
But overall, because this game, like what, I just got 9 years old. This game has been out
Yes.
for. So as a game, we've played it for hundreds of hours. We'll probably continue to play it. Might even play it after this. In terms of, one thing I would say is that in terms of like running, gunning, and shooting, like in the past, it has gotten a little bit repetitive. And at times where we stop playing it for long periods of time, because we get some of us or most of us might get burnt out from it. But it's a game you always come back to. It's like a comfort food you could say. You never go wrong choosing it.
Yeah, sounds good. Kyle?
Well, you all said all the pros already. The only cons would have been the amount of DLCs it had, and I understand why they have it. So I believe that DLCs weren't even that expensive. So I can't really complain too much on it. But if you're looking for a con, the DLCs would have been it.
Sounds good. For me personally, the pros, of course, that replay value, the price, and considering particularly where we are and that conversion rate, a
Oh, yes.
low priced game that is always on sale and has so many, the price performance ratio is excellent. So that's a huge positive for me. In terms of the cons, yes, it can get repetitive, and once in a while, sometimes it just be dying and you're not even sure why, particularly on the higher levels, where you think you're spec'd out really well, and then you just team wipe and nobody knows exactly what happened because you've been doing so well all the time. But that's few and far between. Not much to really remove any points or lower the grade on this game. So that's it for me on the pros and cons. But we want to make sure that everyone who listens to this review, who is contemplating picking up Payday 2 to play with friends, to play with family, is this a game that the Alpha Formation would recommend? CK?
Buy it.
CK says buy it. Kyle?
Definitely buy it.
Chronic?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I say if you can buy the 4-pack and force your friends to play, they'll forgive you. They'll never regret it. Right?
Nope.
I mean, I did. My friends never regretted it.
No complaints from me. 100. 4 out of 4 recommended. Payday 2 from the Alpha
Definitely one
Formation.
of our best co-op games.
Probably the
An
best
OG.
right now. This
Yeah.
is our first official review on these things, and I mean it may mean much or it may not mean anything in the long run, but right now this is number 1 on our co-op list. Don't worry that it's one of one, but it's still number 1 on the co-op list. A really classic one once you have those friends, and fortunately we do have those friends. Those friends have to sign out now. So once again, myself, Liquid Snake, thanks for listening. Chronic is with us as well.
Yo, Peter.
Kyle, aka Antaro, aka Steve, aka Crossflame, aka Muddy is with us as well.
Yeah, man.
And of course we have, as always, CK.
See you next time.
Well said. See you next time, guys. Bye.